how the Sultan of Brunei spends his $30 billion. Hello and welcome back to the Luxury Kingdom. Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. The Sultan of Brunei is among the richest leaders in the world. He boasts a net worth of about $30 billion and makes approximately $103 every second. He has managed to turn Brunei prolific amounts of liquid gold into actual gold literally. So why don't we take a look at the incredible life of the Sultan of Brunei? It's no secret that the Sultan of Brunei likes his cars, and when you are as wealthy as he is, you can have pretty much any cars you could dream of. The Sultan owns approximately 7,000 cars, all with a combined value of over $5 billion. According to reports, he owns about 600 Rolls-Royce, 450 Ferraris, and 380 Bentleys in his massive collections. Among them include the Ferrari Mythos, a car that never made it into productions, but the Sultan owns 2 of them. There's also the $3 million Bentley Java, one of only 18 ever made, but of course, Sultan Brunei has it in his collections and somehow it gets even more opulent than that. His collections includes numerous rare finds like a classic grey Lamborghini or Rocco. Not the most expensive car in his collections, but can you really put a price tag on an antique? There's also his Ferrari 456 GT Venice, one of only 10 ever produced and worth $500,000, in his $14 million Rolls-Royce Phantom, to nickname the Star of India, one of the most expensive cars ever sold at auction. If it wasn't already incredibly obvious, the Sultan really likes his car. In fact, he likes them so much that back in the 90s, the Brunei family accounted for almost half of all the Rolls-Royces sold in that decade, and then there's his gold-plated custom-made Rolls-Royce. It features an open roof and a platform for an umbrella. You can have an insane car collections, but is there anything more regal than sitting in the back of a golden Rolls-Royce and waving at your subjects? You tell me. The Sultan doesn't just have a love for luxury cars, he loves his private jets as well. Although his jet collections is nowhere near the size of his car collections, a good thing too, cause where on earth would he park the darn things? The Sultan owns 3 private jets, a Boeing 200, an Airbus A340-200, and the crown jewel of his fleet, a gold-plated Boeing 747-400, truly fit for royalty. The Sultan apparently also gifted his daughter an Airbus 340 for her birthday. Talk about Dad of the Year, am I right? Sultan Brunei used his incredible wealth to turn his Boeing 747-400 into a proper floating palace, not very much unlike his real golden palace, but we'll get into that later. He spent at least $100 million purchasing his Boeing 747 and then another $120 million decking out the interior with all sorts of luxurious finishes, like what he did to the master bedroom on this massive plane. For example, as you can see, there's a pretty obvious color scheme opulent gold. Both the bedroom and its luxurious bathroom are decorated with gold and Lalique crystal. And yes, that does include a golden sink. When Sultan Brunei isn't in his floating palace, he's chilling in his actual golden palace, his Istana Nurul Iman, which, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, is the world's largest living residence of a head of state. This massive royal dwelling is several times larger than Buckingham Palace, and it's arguably even more luxurious. The place stands on the banks of the Brunei River, several kilometers south of Brunei's capital. It's a massive pristine white palace with golden domes and minarets. The curved roofs of the buildings and the huge golden dome of the palace mosque attract sightseers from the nearby Persia, from Damawan Park to the banks of the Brunei River. The name of this magnificent palace is Istana Nurul Iman, meaning Palace of Light of Faith. It apparently took only 2 years to build and more than $1.5 billion was spent on its construction. The architect of the palace's exterior was Leonardo Philoxen, and the interior was done by Quan Chu, who also worked on the constructions of Burj Al Arab in Dubai. If you're wondering how $1.5 billion was spent building this palace, just know that behind its traditional architecture lies some incredibly luxurious ultra-modern decor. I'm talking Italian marble granite from Shanghai, English glass, and the best Chinese silk gold and marble were the main themes of the palace decor, of course. Now I'm talking about spending obscene amounts of money on luxuries most people would never dream about, and no, I'm not talking about the time he paid $70 million for an oil painting by Pierre Auguste Renoir called Young Girls at the Piano. No, I'm talking about how he spent $20,000 for a single haircut. According to the Times, Sultan Brunei flies out his favorite barber from London, first class by the way, about 3 times to 4 times a week just to cut his hair. Everything is paid for, of course, and I mean everything from the $12,000 plane ticket to the hotel to the luxury food, and then he gets paid with a thick envelope filled with thousands of dollars. If there are any rich monarchs out there watching this right now, I don't just make YouTube videos, I also cut hair. You can find the Sultan traveling around with an entourage of over 100 people. Even if he's going on a shopping spree or traveling across the countries, he's routinely surrounded by several people, bodyguards included. Whenever Sultan Brunei travels around the globe, he only stays in the finest hotels where he rents out the entire floor and apparently spends as much as $1 million per trip. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing videos from us.